80% of parents in the United States report feeling completely exhausted by daily power struggles with their children. But here is the kicker. Nearly 70% of those same parents admit that the harder they push for compliance, the more defiant their children become. If you are sitting in your car in a Chicago suburb right now, or maybe grabbing a coffee in Brooklyn before the school run, and you feel like you are losing a war of wills with a 6-year-old, stop. Just stop. Because the number one parenting mistake you are likely making isn't a lack of discipline. It is actually the discipline itself. You are trying to solve a biological fight-or-flight response with logic and force. And that is like trying to put out a grease fire with a bucket of water. Today, we are breaking down why your child's defiance is actually a cry for autonomy, and how you can end the constant arguing without ever raising your voice. Most of us grew up with the "do it because I said so" model. In the 80s and 90s, parenting was about control. We were taught that if a child says no, you increase the pressure. You take away the Nintendo, you send them to their room, you yell louder to show who is boss. We were told that if you give an inch, they'll take a mile. But modern neuroscience, specifically research from places like Harvard's Center on the Developing Child, has proven that this control-first mentality actually damages the developing brain. When you corner a defiant child with a threat, "Put your shoes on or no TV for a week," you aren't teaching them responsibility. You are actually triggering the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for survival. To that child, your demand feels like a predatory threat. Their heart rate spikes, their cortisol levels climb, and their logic centers, the prefrontal cortex, literally shut down. They aren't being bad. They are in a state of neurological panic. So, who is doing it right? If the old school iron fist doesn't work, what does? If you look at high-performing educators in Los Angeles or specialized child psychologists in Seattle, they use a completely different script. They don't see defiance as a discipline issue. They see it as a regulation and autonomy issue. They understand a secret that most parents miss. A child's need for autonomy is as real as their need for food and water. When that need is starved, they fight for it. The most successful parents aren't the ones with the loudest voices. They are the ones who know how to share power without losing their leadership. Let's look at a landmark study from the University of Washington. They tracked families over a 5-year period to see how different responses to defiance affected long-term behavior. The group of parents who used coercive control, meaning threats, yelling, and forced compliance, saw a 300% increase in aggressive behavior by age 10. But the group that used autonomy-supportive parenting, even with children who were naturally strong-willed, saw a massive drop in defiance and an increase in self-regulation. The shocker? The autonomy group didn't have fewer rules. They actually had clearer boundaries. They just enforced them without the power struggle. Here is the mechanism of the backfire effect. Your child's brain has 3 main parts involved here. First, the amygdala, the alarm system. Second, the prefrontal cortex, the CEO that handles logic and decisions. Third, the anterior cingulate cortex, the bridge between the two. When you yell, "Get in the car right now!" the amygdala sounds the alarm. It tells the child, "You are being attacked. Defend your autonomy." The CEO goes on vacation. Logic is gone. This is why you can explain to your child for 20 minutes why they need to go to the dentist, and they will still scream, "No!" They literally cannot hear your logic because their brain is drowning in cortisol. To get them back, you have to turn off the alarm first. Let me tell you about Sarah, a mom I worked with in a busy neighborhood in Chicago. Her son, Leo, was a no machine. Every morning was a battlefield. "Leo, eat your eggs." "No!" "Leo, put on your coat." "No!" Sarah was at her wit's end, usually ending the morning crying in her minivan. We changed one thing. We stopped the direct command and started the collaborative bridge. Instead of saying, "Put on your coat," she started saying, "Leo, it's 40 degrees out. Do you want to put your coat on inside where it's warm, or take it to the car and put it on when you feel the cold?" Within 3 days, the screaming stopped. Why? Because Leo felt he had a choice. He had autonomy. The threat was gone, so his CEO brain stayed online. Now, I want to give you a framework you can use starting tonight. I call it the C.A.L.M method. It stands for connection, autonomy, limits, and modeling. This was developed by pulling the best practices from developmental psychology and hostage negotiation. Yes, because sometimes parenting a toddler feels like a high-stakes negotiation. Step 1 is connection. Before you give an instruction, you must connect. Most parents bark orders from across the kitchen while making school lunches. "Go brush your teeth." That's a drive-by command. It's easy to ignore or fight. Instead, walk over. Get on their eye level. Put a hand on their shoulder. Say, "Hey, I see you're building an incredible Lego tower. It's so tall." This acknowledges their world. It lowers the amygdala's guard. Only after that connection do you move to the request. Step 2 is autonomy, the power of 2. This is the magic bullet. Never give a single command if you can give 2 choices that both lead to the same result. Instead of "clean up your room," try, "Do you want to pick up the blocks first or the books?" You are still the leader. The room is getting cleaned, but the child feels the win of making a choice. This satisfies their biological hunger for control. A common mistake here is giving a fake choice, like, "Do you want to brush your teeth or get a spanking?" That's a threat, not a choice. Don't do that. Give 2 positive options. Step 3 is limits, firm but kind. This is where most parents fail. They think no yelling means no rules. Wrong. Kids actually feel anxious without boundaries. The key is to state the limit without the drama. If they refuse to leave the park, don't yell. Say, "The timer went off. It's time to go. You can walk to the car or I can carry you. Which do you choose?" If they still say no, you calmly pick them up. No anger, no "I told you so." You are just the executor of the boundary. You are the calm pilot in a storm. Step 4 is modeling. You cannot teach a child to stay calm by yelling at them to "calm down." It's the ultimate irony. Your child's mirror neurons are constantly scanning you. If you are frantic, they will be frantic. If you are aggressive, they will be defiant. You have to regulate yourself first. Take a breath. Count to 3. If you can't control your own nervous system, you have 0 chance of helping them control theirs. Now, let's talk about the advanced technique, the time in versus the time out. Traditional timeouts often make defiance worse because they trigger attachment anxiety. A defiant child feels rejected, which spikes their fear, which spikes their defiance. A time in is when you say, "You are having a really hard time following the rules right now. I'm going to sit here with you until we both feel calm enough to try again." This is what the top 1% of parents do. It shows the child that your love is not contingent on their compliance. When a child feels safe and connected, they want to please you. Compliance becomes a byproduct of the relationship, not a result of fear. Let's map out your first month of this transition. Weeks 1 and 2 are the observation phase. Your only goal is to stop the bleeding, stop the yelling. When you feel that heat rising in your chest, that Chicago winter road rage feeling, walk away. Your goal for the first 14 days is simply to use the 2-option strategy for everything. Red cup or blue cup? Bath before stories or after? You will notice by day 4 that the vibe in your house starts to shift. The red flag to watch for is your own ego. If you feel like, "I'm letting them win," remember, parenting isn't a game of chess. It's gardening. You're growing a human, not defeating an opponent. Weeks 3 and 4 are the consistency phase. This is where you might see an extinction burst. This is a psychological term where the behavior gets worse right before it disappears. The child is testing if the new calm mom or patient dad is real. Stay the course. Keep your limits firm, but your voice low. By the end of month 1, you'll find that the "no" becomes a "can I do it this way instead?" And that, my friends, is a massive win. That is negotiation replacing defiance. Let's troubleshoot a common problem: the public meltdown. You're at a Target in the suburbs and your child is screaming on the floor because you won't buy the $20 toy. Everyone is looking. Your face is turning red. The old way is to hiss, "Get up right now or you're in big trouble." The new way? Drop to your knees, whisper, "I see you really want that toy. It looks so cool. It's hard when we can't get what we want." Acknowledge the feeling. Then, the limit. "We are not buying toys today. Do you want to hold the grocery list for me, or do you want to help me find the milk?" By whispering, you force them to quiet down to hear you. By validating the feeling, you bypass the amygdala. Here is a secret most people miss. Defiance is often a sign of high intelligence and strong leadership potential. The kid who refuses to back down today is the adult who won't be bullied in the boardroom in Manhattan 15 years from now. Your job isn't to break their spirit, it's to guide their energy. When you use the C.A.L.M method, you aren't just getting them to put their shoes on. You are teaching them how to handle frustration, how to negotiate, and how to stay regulated under pressure. To recap, the number 1 mistake is trying to control a child who is in fight or flight mode. The solution is the C.A.L.M method. Connection first. Autonomy through choices. Limits that are firm but kind. And modeling the behavior you want to see. Your homework for today is simple. The very next time your child says no, I want you to take one deep breath, get on their level, and give them 2 choices that both work for you. Just try it once. See what happens to the energy in the room. If you found this helpful, I want you to comment below with the word choice, so I know you're committed to trying this out. I'll be jumping into the comments to answer specific questions about your toughest power struggles. And stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll dive into the screen time secret, how to end the iPad addiction without the tantrums. You've got this, parents. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. I'll see you in the next one.